Racing video games. I am not a huge fan of them, but when I heard we were getting a LEGO racing game, my interest was piqued. You see, I've always been a huge fan of LEGO video games, so of course I was going to be excited for this. And the fact that this one was going to be nothing like Traveler's Tales Endeavors with the LEGO Group got me kind of excited. Honestly, it felt like we might see what a modern take on LEGO Racers would be like. This got my mind racing with cool thoughts and ideas. But to be honest, when this game was first announced, I have always been a little bit skeptical. I don't even know if I would enjoy it or not. For one, it's a racing game, and I'm not a huge fan of those. I don't even know the last time I played a racing game. But the biggest reason why I was skeptical? 2K Games, mostly known these days for their yearly basketball and WWE titles, are now the ones working on the new LEGO racing game. To be fair, I did say I was excited TT Games aren't going to be the only company making LEGO games anymore, but I was hoping a more respected company would do it. It's honestly really weird that TT Games won't be the only company making LEGO games anymore. Traveler's Tales for almost 15 years had an exclusivity deal with LEGO. They weren't the only company allowed to develop games for the LEGO brand, but they had the right to say no to any company that would request to do so. In early 2022, former employees at TT Games spoke out about unfair working conditions during the development of the Skywalker Saga, which made a lot of people believe that is what caused LEGO to reevaluate their deal with TT Games. But apparently it might be having to do with disappointing key figures with their most recent titles. It's kind of uncertain, but shortly after that was announced, a bunch of companies were quick to run straight to the LEGO brand, most notably Epic Games and 2K, with 2K almost instantly announcing what they're working on with the LEGO Group. In February, it was announced 2K has secured the LEGO license for a range of sports games. They would start with a soccer game developed by Sumo Digital and then would be followed by an open-world LEGO racing game that is currently in development by Visual Concepts. The soccer game was apparently going to release around the time of the World Cup. It did not, but Visual Concepts is developing the upcoming LEGO racing game. You may be wondering, what are they responsible for? Well, to get you a taste of what they're all about, I'll just read you their 10 most recent games that they've developed. WWE 2K23, NBA 2K23, WWE 2K22, NBA 2K22, WWE 2K21, NBA 2K21, WWE 2K20, NBA 2K20, WWE 2K19, and NBA 2K19. Since 1999, this company has basically been a sports game machine. Honestly, I'm sad and happy for them that they got to develop this game. I'm happy they get to do something new, but scared because they've only been developing WWE and NBA games for the last decade. After some time has passed, the title for the upcoming LEGO racing game was leaked. And what was it called? This is one of the worst video game titles I've ever seen. Sure, they may put 2K in every single WWE and NBA game they release, but teens and adults already associate 2K games for those games. But for your new LEGO Racing Kids game, you just have to shove 2K in the title of it. Like, it's such an ugly name. I would much rather it be LEGO Drive. Or if you had to put 2K in the title, why would you smack it right in the middle of the two words? Honestly, 2K's LEGO Drive or 2K's LEGO Racing sounds way better, and I just thought of those in 5 seconds. I remember when the title was first leaked, a lot of people thought this was a development title for the game, and it would be different for the official reveal. Too bad we aren't part of that timeline, but the reveal trailer actually looked pretty promising. A bunch of new info for the game came out as well. It was described as an open world driving game with fast-paced competitive racing and vehicle customization. This game looked really good graphically as well, but all of the good news was kinda soured by the announcement of a paid driver pass and that the game was going to be filled with microtransactions. There was 3 versions of the game releasing: a standard edition that just got you the game and nothing more, an awesome edition that gave you early access, a couple of free cars and drivers, and access to the full first year of a driving pass, and an awesome Rivals edition, which gave you everything the awesome edition gave you, plus more free cars and drivers. I pre-ordered the Awesome Edition so I could play the game early and hopefully get a review out earlier, especially because I was about to go on vacation soon. Unfortunately, I couldn't get it out before then, but I'm kinda glad because the driver pass wasn't going to be released until around July. So I'm going to be able to give my thoughts on it in this video as well. So on the 19th of May, LEGO 2K Drive released, a week after Tears of the Kingdom. And looking at that now, yeah, that was probably a bad idea. I heard no one talking about this game for months, and even now, Tears of the Kingdom is still at the very top of sale charts. But anyways, let's finally talk about the game. As soon as I start the game up, I get a QR code asking me to create or log into a 2K account. This game is one of those always online games, and to access the store and multiplayer, I'll need to create an account. So I do that, and when I'm done, I can access the main menu. We have some options to choose from: play, play with friends, play with everyone, the garage, and Unky's Yaporium. Well, since everyone is busy playing Tears of the Kingdom, I can't really play with friends or play with everyone, so I might as well just find out what the base game has to offer. When I click play, I have more options to choose from: story, cup series, race, or minigame. Since the story mode is the main mode of the game, I'll start with that first. My first impressions on the cutscenes are great. These look absolutely beautiful. They had the same stop motion style like the Lego movie, but almost every scene is very pretty to look at. They also do a great job at telling the story as well, even if it's not an amazing story by any means. The humor is definitely a big hit or miss. It's all very self-aware, which can sometimes work in its favor, but a lot of the time it feels like they're trying way too hard to be funny, and they rely a lot on memes and references.
Jeff. I'm sorry, what? My name's Jeff?
Like, I never thought I would see a "my name is Jeff" joke in 2023, especially since that joke is almost a decade old. Yes, I know it's really weird to think about that meme was made in 2014. Also, I don't know if it's just me, but for some reason as I got further in the story, the dialogue got really out of sync for a lot of the cutscenes.
Jeff. I'm sorry, what? My name's Jeff?
But cutscenes aren't what make a game, and while those might be quite good, the story mode is honestly pretty boring. At the start of the game, you're introduced to the main mechanics, like driving, quick turning, boosting, and transforming into different vehicles. It all feels pretty good, and watching your vehicle change quickly into different ones can be quite satisfying. But once you're done with all the tutorial, you can finally get into the meat of the story mode. You will always go through the same gameplay loop. You'll be challenged to a race, you have to do some small missions around the hub world until you unlock the race, and finally you can compete in said race. This is fun for about the first hour of the game, but after that it gets old really quickly. You'll either be defending buildings from robots or saving civilians from monsters, and they're all the same, just different locations. While this was pretty fun at first, it ends up making these modes feel like a way to fluff out the story rather than giving you more things to do. And when you unlock the races, I thought this would be the main mode of the game, but they are not worth it at all. Racetracks are all designed very weirdly. For example, in a game like Mario Kart, the tracks feel like they were made to be raced on. But here, it feels like they used a bunch of assets they used in the free roam and just kind of threw it all together. I really don't know how to describe it, but these racetracks just don't feel good to race in. None of these tracks are memorable at all, and they all just blend in with each other. Your vehicle will constantly be switching depending on what terrain you're in, but it doesn't add more depth to these tracks. If anything, I wish sometimes I could just stick to one vehicle. I wish there was tracks only designed for racing cars or only designed for your boats, because at least that way I would get a better feeling on how these vehicles feel to drive. It just feels like a gimmick to me. Sure, it's kinda cool, but you don't show me the reasons why it needs to be here. Items are also a thing during the racing mode, but honestly, they all kinda feel the same for me. And even if you do destroy an enemy's car, they'll be right back in the same spot as if nothing happened. But if your car gets destroyed, then yeah, you get set back pretty far. It doesn't matter anyways though, because basically every race plays out the same way. For most of the race you'll be in second place or lower, but right at the very end, it's as if the AI are just programmed to stop trying, which really takes a lot away from the races. Like, if every single one of them plays out the same way, why would I want to continue playing them? It's not exciting at all. I get it, this game is for kids, but that doesn't mean you have to make the races an absolute joke. Yeah, I did not enjoy the races at all. I was hoping for something like LEGO Racers, but instead it's probably my least favorite thing to do in this game. But clearly they are not the main focus of the game. That went to the open world. The open world is okay. There are 4 different regions to explore that are all quite big, lots of side quests, and loads of things to collect. The open world brings platformer vibes with all the collectibles and things to find. It can be satisfying pulling off jumps correctly or completing side quests. Most of the side quests are only a couple seconds long and honestly are pretty difficult to get a gold medal in. There are some fetch quests and chase ones. The chasing missions can be quite fun, but the fetch ones are the exact opposite. But for some reason they have this side quest based on a David Lynch film, Wild at Heart, which is a pretty wild and obscure reference, and I bet 80% of the people playing this game won't even catch it. Like, they even have the same names as the main characters. Hell, the mission is even titled Wild Horses at Heart. But yeah, most of the side missions in the hub world get quite stale after a while. Although all of the regions look different from each other, what you'll be doing in them is the exact same. They all look gorgeous, and it's really fun just crashing into Lego structures and watching them shatter. But my biggest complaint would have to be the lack of its own style. Sure, things are made of Lego, but there's just so much stuff that'll all throw you out of it. Mostly with how inconsistent the whole thing is. Like, you're a toy, so a lot of things of real life are big to you. But then you'll also run into some Lego pieces that are really big, or some real life items that are really small. I just wish they went all out with it. Imagine one of the hub worlds being a kid's bedroom instead of just a generic farmland. I heard a lot of people comparing this game to Hot Wheels Unleashed, which apparently that game goes all out with the toy aesthetic, even changing meters to centimeters, giving it that little extra hint of charm. At the end of the day, the hub world looks really nice and some of it has some decent variety to it, but a lot of it is just too uninspired and boring. Also, I just wanted to mention, I'm really glad this whole entire game had 2-player split screen. It's a rarity to find it in most games these days, and honestly, this game would make a fun couch co-op game. Okay, well that's pretty much everything this story mode has to offer, which has been kinda mediocre. It's time to talk about my favorite part of the game, the vehicle customization. I'm not sure how they did it, but they brought the joy you get from building Lego into this game. On controller or keyboard and mouse, the controls feel pretty good. You get basically complete customization of your car, loads of pieces to choose from, and tons of different accessories. I had a blast with this mode, and it's honestly where most of my playtime came from. Look, I built a Lego Formula 1 car, and I don't even watch Formula 1, but because of this feature, it honestly makes this game feel way more like a Lego game than anything Traveler's Tales has done. It's not perfect though. For starters, you can only build off a pre-existing set of wheels, which really limits what you can actually create. You already have so much freedom in this customization, so why would you randomly limit it here? I mean, it's also kind of my fault because it doesn't help all the stuff I was building was just from pre-existing Lego sets, just looking at the instructions. But 2, a lot of pieces are locked behind a paywall in the item shop. Yeah, this game is filled with microtransactions. We have brickbucks and coins. Brickbucks is what you use to purchase things in the item shop. Coins are used for purchasing more brickbucks. Most of the things in the item shop are pretty lame. You can buy new drivers, although most of them aren't anything special, and you can't even customize your own driver. You can only choose from ones that are already made. Vehicles can be purchased here, but to me they just seem pointless because of the customization. I spent all the brickbucks I earned on brick packs, but like, come on, you can only get 3 to 5 pieces in every pack, and it can cost around 4,000 to 6,000 brickbucks. I forgot to mention, but leveling up and earning any form of currency becomes very slow after you're done with the story mode. But that's basically everything in this game. Although since this game has been out for a couple of months now, there are some things I want to talk about. After a couple of days, some people noticed that they would lose all their progress once they closed the game. Luckily, this did not happen to me, but it apparently had something to do with playing the game offline. After spending a month to fix it, the devs gave out 20,000 brickbucks. And that's actually quite generous of them, because now I almost have every single brick pack in the game, at least the ones you can purchase. In July, the first Driver Pass finally released. The trailer was edited to bring Fast and Furious vibes, and they had some cars that have been in past movies. But it's not collaborating with the franchise, which kinda confused me at first. But anyways, the Battle Pass sucks. Progressing is insanely slow, especially since it came out way after launch. Most people already have a big chunk of content for this game finished. The rewards are just new drivers that are most random and unspecial thing imaginable, and the cars are just, well, more cars. I got this for free with my version, but if you got the standard edition, you'll be paying $10 for it, which is not worth the money at all. The update also introduced some more side quests to do in the free roam, but after having 20 hours in this game, I'm really bored and I got my fill of it. Is it because it's a racing game, or because it's just really mediocre? Probably both. LEGO 2K Drive is really disappointing. The game just feels passionless, and like a company wanted to use the LEGO brand for marketing instead of showing us the amazing ideas they had for a LEGO racing game. You will have covered everything this game has to offer after just a couple of days. In the future, they said they're gonna make it where you can share and save cars, which sounds pretty cool, but I feel like that should have just been a feature in the game at the beginning. Hopefully with 2K's next LEGO game, they learned from their mistakes. Thinking of a better title would be a start. Oh hey, it seems like the title for the LEGO soccer game just got leaked. I wonder what it could be. Well, we are already off to a bad start.